Hi, it's Anne. Thanks for stopping by. We're going to be talking about adhesives today, and I'm really excited about this. This came about because I have wonderful viewers. I have wonderful, wonderful viewers, and that's probably you if you're watching this right now. I made this little booklet out of some old postcards a few days ago, and it just turned out super cute. But this was, I categorized it as the product of a fail because I had used postcards, but I had wanted to make a little booklet out of playing cards, but the adhesive didn't work. I had used 3-in-1 glue, also marketed under the name of Fabri-Tac or Fabri-Fix. It is the same thing. It is a Beacon product. It's a fine glue. But because of the slick plasticized coating on the playing cards, it just didn't work. So I thought, well, I need to switch to the postcards because at least, whoops, sorry, I have a ribbon here clinging to it. Because at least I could adhere the paper onto the paper and I would have a more reliable join from the adhesive. Well, many of you, and I just thank you so much, said, Anne, why don't you just use a little sandpaper? Sand some of that plasticized coating off of the playing card. That's going to eliminate that slick coating, and your regular glue will work just fine. So anyway, I'm going to put that good advice to use. I actually have done several test cases that we're going to go back and look at, but we're going to go through the steps of the sanding so you can see how that worked. And I'm quite encouraged by it. I might start by just taking apart this one that I did the other day that had the 3-in-1 because I don't want to waste the cards. So anyway, there's just a little bit of flaky, dried 3-in-1 glue here. And I'm going to get out, there's several different ways that, that we can sand. I went out into the garage and found some kind of beat up stuff out of Dan's toolkit, a really gritty, even know anything about the different grittiness grades of sandpaper, but I have regular sandpaper and I have a sanding block. These have been around for a while, but we're going to use a couple of different methods. So I want this to be, actually I think I want the queen to be the cover of this little booklet. So we're starting over again. And what I want to do is to glue this sideways card here, and it forms the join. So I'm just going to kind of sand this. I'm going to find a piece on this sanding block that has a fair amount of grit left in it. I think these have been in Dan's toolkit since the Reagan administration. I don't know. I think they've been in there a few decades, but I'm just going to kind of sand in the area where I believe I'm going to be putting the glue down. And I have to do this again. This is going to be the inside, and this is the front cover. Okay, so I'm going to sand in this area because that's where I'm going to be adhering. The little joining card. And I'm not worried about if it's going to show afterward or, around the edge. Certainly you can tell that it's working because look, I'm taking a lot of that image off and it's showing up here. It doesn't take that much muscle, but I do have a little rag around to wipe the surface clean. There we go. There's these two. And then, because I want to eliminate the coating on the card that I'm going to use forming the spine or the join, I'm taking off some of that flaky previous glue. See, we don't just throw things away, do we? If this is peeled up, we'll use it again. Let me see if this paper, yeah, this works okay. I can tell it is because, again, it's taken off that image. See, it's a little hard to hold this, though. Here is a little bit of a finer grit, and I think I'm going to just rip off a piece and see how that works. Oh, yeah, this works nicely. That's easy to hold. And I'm going to come down here close to that fold because I want to glue that portion as well. Okay, you can tell I've taken off a lot of coating there. And let's get rid of this. Well, I'll just close it up. How about that? I'm gonna have to do a little sweeping of my craft surface. All right, now here are, let's get to joining. Okay, this is there. It's gonna go like that. And you know, I guess since this can go either way, I want to make certain that I have my little sanded surfaces towards the middle. I could have just sanded the whole thing. That would have eliminated some of the guesswork. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my glue here in a little U shape on just one side. This is something when I was doing my test cases, I kind of figured out that process improvement. So I have folded my card down the middle. And using that 3-in-1 glue, I'm just going to get this positioned here with that fold coming up, or maybe just ever so slightly beyond the edge of this left-hand card that's going to be our cover. And once this is down, yep, there's our queen on the cover. And once this is down, and I've got it even there, stringy glue, let's do the other one and do, again, I'm not going to glue in this area. I'm going to glue in a U-shaped formation this way. And then I'm going to flip this card on top so that I can get those two cards lined up precisely for the front and back cover. And that's it, friends. That is it. There we go. That's the cover of our little booklet. Now I'm going to pull out the one that I did that was just like this. I did this yesterday. And sanded only, according to the Post-it note. And let's doing a little washi to kind of secure that together. Here's how this one worked. And this is the same process. I sanded it and used the 3-in-1 glue. There's my little documentation there. And I did this has set overnight. Let's see if that is holding. Yeah, I think I've got pretty good confidence that that's going to be a reliable join. Yeah, I'm okay with that. So this is the one I did yesterday. I'm going to set this aside and let it, because I do really want to let that dry. Let's try another method. Besides the sanding, I believe it was my wonderful viewer, Christine, said, Anne, why don't you just use double-sided tape? And I thought, I love double-sided tape. Why did I not even think of that? So I made one using double-sided tape. I'm going to make it now to show you, and then we'll look and see how it adheres, although there's no drying time there, so that could be sort of an instant reaction. I love these bird playing cards. These are worn out, though. A lot of them are bent. And these I do have a bit of They do have a clear up and down. Oh, a snowy owl. That's cute. Glad I just dealt myself that one. Let's use the Cooper's Hawk as our join. Let's use our little cover as the join. Or have the cover, the big bird image showing up when it comes to the join. There we go. So this is the join, and I'm going to put a little thumb notch here. So this is the other method, and I have a couple of others that I'm going to show you too. Other options. I really feel good about that sanded 3-in-1 piece, but again, it does have to dry. So if you're in a little bit more of a hurry, or you just have double-sided tape that you like to use, we're going to show how we can do that. I'm just inking because I happen to have my ink tool here, and I felt like doing that. I'm so glad that I mean, I'm really, really happy that this whole postcard thing worked out, because I think these are so adorable, and you know, so nice if you have postcards that you're saving from some sort of a trip. So I was glad that my journey led me there, but I'm especially glad that my journey has led me back to using the playing cards, which is what I wanted to do in the first place. I'm glad you guys aren't shy. All right, now I'm going to, this is the surface I want to adhere to my front and back cover. We'll be adding some pages and doing a couple of little embellishments as well as we go on with this video. So it's not exactly the same as last time, but I'm gonna put down my little 6 pieces of double-sided tape. And I'm going to get that as close to the edge. This is 1/4 inch double-sided tape. I used to use this for card making. I've had it for a long time, and I'm getting a little close to the end. I think I haven't ordered, I'm sure it was before pandemic that I got this batch. So if you amortize that out over the years, I'm spending, $1 a year on double-sided tape. Not very much. That, and then I do want to put some close to the fold on either side, but I don't have to get all the way to the edge there, leaving open the top and bottom of the card, because that's going to be the opening to our little pockets. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got some lint in there, but that's all right. Grab a needle. Here we go. Now I get these in place. I want this for my cover. I feel bad. I'm going to be, I was so excited to see the little snowy owl, and then, you know what? I'm almost thinking, no, I'm gonna go with these. There's plenty more where these came from, so I don't need to get myself all in a twist about which birds are going to be on the cover of this little booklet. Let's see, I think I want this to go this way, which means I'm going to take the release tape off. On this side. I think I need my bone folder to burnish that down, because I'm starting to pull up that release tape and it's pulling the adhesive layer along with it. So let's have everything stay in its place a little bit better. This needle to pull this off. There we go. Just scoring a little bit of that release tape and then picking it up often works, whether it's this narrow double-sided tape or the thicker side that we use to make our fabric tape. I've got some fun projects coming up with that soon too. Well, fiddle, fiddle, fiddle. Whole lot of fiddling going on here. Got a little bit of this double-sided tape crossing the Rubicon there. I'm sorry. I said I wasn't going to do this, but I just love that snowy owl so much I just have to put him on the cover. So there we go. There we go. All right, now this is my sticky side. I'm going to put that on this side of the cover. I'm going to get that positioned so that that fold is right up very close, or just a hair beyond the edge of that card. And that's different from what I did earlier with the postcards. I think I glued all of those flat, and I think this is a little more efficient. Also, it helps us position the cards together so they form a nicely aligned front and back cover. We'll pull these off. And I realize I've eliminated some of the contrast on the inside, but you know, sometimes you just need to follow your instincts. And I felt like that snowy owl belonged on the cover. It was his destiny. Any Harry Potter fans out there? They know how special the snowy owl is. All right, now make certain everything's okay. Mr. Snowy Owl on the cover, and then and I know that's the male painted bunting. The males, of course, always get the best plumage, but he's going to be on the back. And we're going to get those lined up nicely. Now, what I wanted to show you was how nicely this join, how nice and strong it is. This isn't really drying, so, you know, I don't need that, but this is the one that I made yesterday, trying the double-sided tape initially. So let's just, yeah, lots of confidence that can stay in there. Got a little ticket in there, a little pocket. Let's make one more with a slightly different technique, and then we'll put some pages in and maybe do a little bit of decorating. Do you ever run across these there's kind of larger jumbo size playing cards? This is some sort of a game. The cards are really cute. Oh, I was talking about stinky soup. I don't want that. This is some sort of a weird little game that's meant to be, if you have people over for dinner, you pass out these cards, and there's like questions, like conversation starters revolving around food and things. And, you know, my feeling is if you need something like that at a dinner party, maybe you ought to revisit your guest list. But, you know, there's plenty of reasons that you could have people over for dinner that you need to prod into some sort of a conversation icebreaker. So I shouldn't be throwing shade at that. But I kind of like these because they're a little bit larger, and I like the cover. So let's use these playing cards. We're going to go back to a sanding tool, but we're going to use a different one this time. And if you don't have access to these, or you don't feel like stopping, at the hardware section of your grocery store, or stopping at the hardware store to get sandpaper, you might have a little nail buffing block, and choose the portion that is the roughest. And let's just see how this works. I think it should work fine. I'm gonna kind of eyeball where I want my sanding to take place. Let me put a little piece of paper here since we're celebrating birds. And I've had this sitting around for quite a while. I don't really go to the nail salon anymore. I would get my nails done occasionally pre-pandemic, and I just lost interest in it. I mean, obviously nobody went to any salons for a long time. But even when we could do so again, it just wasn't anything I was interested in doing. So sorry about that. You get the benefit of my lack of interest in manicures here. There, I think I'm taking off most of that coating. There we go. So I have erased part of the reference to stinky soup. And yeah, so this is going to be on the back side. This is going to be on the front. And I want to make certain that I'm, I don't want anything about burps. Everybody burps. Oh, golly. I know they do, but I just don't want to have that in my little booklet. This is organic know-how. That sounds fine. I have never used this as an icebreaker. I think I picked this up at the thrift store. I probably haven't used it because my husband loves me, but if I ever suggested doing this thing at dinner, he would object to that as the dinner host. Mainly because if he were at a dinner party and we had to hand out cards and, talk about things based on written prompts, I think he would go, oh, when can I get myself out of here? Anyway, the cards are fun. Yeah, I'm thinking that this looks pretty good. And I'm glad that this little sanding block that I brought home from a salon, well, it would have been nearly 5 years ago, is getting some use finally. All right, my front and back cover are done, and I've sanded a little U-shaped thing with the bottom of the U in the middle, because that's where the spine is going to be. And then this is going to be our join. So I'm going to do this. I must have had this out earlier doing some kind of mixed media thing, because it looks like there's some paint on the corner of that. Yeah, so I guess I'll have, that's not too bad. I'm going to ink the edges anyway. I guess I'll have that. I want to do my sanding in this orientation here and here, and I'm going to keep on using my nail block. The thing about these is they're easy to handle and easy to grip, so I'm kind of liking them as a tool. I'm going to do one additional step here as well. It's going to require some drying. Oops, I better. There we go. Set this aside because I got a lot of schmutz on there. Okay, now there's one other thing I would like to do, because it was one other suggestion that a viewer had. And that suggestion was to sand and then put a little bit of gesso on the sanded area to increase the likelihood that the surface would be joinable and amenable to being adhered. So I have brought out my gesso here, and I'm doing this to kind of see how that particular process works. And yep, just putting it on like it's a little bit of hand lotion. Only you're not rubbing it into your hands, obviously. But the fingers are the best tools for this, I think. I did this yesterday afternoon, and then Dan and I took our little Barney, our little grandson, to swimming lessons. We picked him up from the school bus and took him right away to swimming lessons at the community center, and I sat down at swimming lessons, and I was picking gesso off of my hands. There we go. So this is going to be like this. And then our adhered down piece is going to be gessoed. Wait, I better get another piece of paper. I do not want to get a gesso smear on my craft mat. There we go. Yeah, don't be afraid just to use your fingers. They're sometimes the best tools. So the viewer's advice was that sanding and gessoing would really prime the surface nicely to make that adhesive really really work. And I want to show you how that works. I want to show you this process on how I did that. Now let's look at one that I did just like this. I need a bigger drying surface here. And here's, yes, I sanded and gessoed this one, and I used the 3-in-1 glue. So there's one more step in the process as opposed to the one where I just sanded and glued. But let's take a look at this because I haven't really tested this yet. Yeah, that's too thick to get in there. Craft stick here. Yeah, that feels nice. If you know, this, I have to say, this feels with the gesso, the sanding and the gesso, I gotta say, I think that viewer's right. I think this feels stronger than the one that was just sanded. Although that one felt pretty good too. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about the gesso process. I might keep that two-step process with, you know, the sanding and the gesso as sort of my premium process here. I also really like the 3-in-1 tape, but I would do just the sanding and the 3-in-1 too. Also, let's look at one more, and this is one that I did. I sanded and I used art glitter glue, which is, there's no glitter in it. That's just the name of the glue. A fast-drying clear adhesive, beloved by paper crafters everywhere. So this is my piece that I did by sanding the surface and using art glitter glue. And I put the join card in a slightly different orientation and put a couple tuck spots here. So let's see how that feels. That feels pretty good. That feels pretty secure. You know, I'm really starting to that the process of sanding is really the key one. And if you want to add a little gesso in the mix, then, you know, good on you. It adds maybe just a little bit extra measure. But I think it's, I think the sanding is the critical success factor here. Let's go ahead and stitch as long as we're here. Let me look and see if I've got time to do this. Yeah, I'm going to quickly just stitch a few pages in here. I cut these to be something I think would kind of fit. And there's a page. There's a piece of junk mail. And then I've got a closure idea or two. And just a few pages in here. This will just take a second. It's kind of fun going through all of the different glues and then going back and testing them. I just was so thrilled to get this idea from people about the sanding, because I don't know why that didn't occur to me, and it should have. And I think Connie even mentioned to me when I was talking to her about this, my dear friend, said something about you could sand the surface. And I guess maybe I wasn't listening. I'm sorry, Connie. I somehow feel like she mentioned it, and I did not pay as much of attention to that tip as I should have. So, but anyway, those of you out here that gave me advice, I hear you loud and clear. So we need not be thwarted by plasticized slick surfaces when it comes to wanting to adhere them, do we? All right, got my little pages all put in place. My little cross piece is there. And see how this holds up to the process. I'm going to need to make certain that this is the one with the art glitter glue. Make certain that I punch my holes in the area where that joining card is and not get beyond that. Oh, I have so much stuff here on my desk. I string a twine that is too long. All right, let's come in here. As I said the other day, I normally start on the inside, but for this little booklet, I want to have the knot be on the outside of the spine rather than in the center spread. Up through the middle, down to one end, skip over the middle, and go into your third hole there. And back through the middle. I wouldn't even be doing this part on camera. You've seen me do it so many times, but it's so fast. I thought, let's just stick with it. There we go. So this is a cute little booklet. We've got little pockets here. Let's put a ticket or something in there. Shall we do that? Maybe a ticket or two. And let's do the same with the back. There's another ticket. These are just done from a stamp. I mass made a whole bunch of tickets a couple of days ago, but they're sitting on the other side of the craft room right now. There's just a little slip. So here's this little piece. see part of a page sticking out. That's easily trimmed off. Now, I can decorate the front, but honestly, this just looks so cute by itself. I think I probably won't. I could paper clip it together, but I could also, I just have a little piece of, this is a measuring tape ribbon that I cut to make a little bit of a belly band. I think that holds that together nicely. That would be so cute to put in a pocket, wouldn't it? Let's look at, oh, let's go back to our snowy owl. We don't want to abandon him. Let me just kind of tuck some pages in there. I had some. I don't know what I did with the other ones for this size journal. Let me just cut these down and they'll be part of this little journal. Paper can always be cut to size, can't it? I'm not going to stitch this in, but let's look about at a way that we might close this. I have some a whole bunch of these little things. They came from a little kit where you weave on a little loom. It's like a kid's craft kit, weaving on a little loom to make a pot holder. And I think I got it, I don't know, I picked it up at the thrift store because I thought it might be something that my grandson might have fun doing. I think we made exactly one pot holder out of it, and the pot holders were not great. I would not consider them decent safety equipment in the kitchen. But I hung on to these because I thought that they might come in handy. And yeah, that could make a nice little closure. I could put a little button or something on that. Anyway, this is it, guys. And the star of our show really is the sandpaper, or whether, you know, it's in the form of flat sandpaper, whether it's a nail block, whether it's, you know, something beat up from your garage for the purpose of sanding wood. That's the key. And thank you so much to my wonderful viewers that brought that to my attention. And I want to let you know it works, and it works in numerous different ways. The sandpaper and, of course, the double-sided tape. All these things can work. So we will not be intimidated by plasticized surfaces anymore, will we? No, we won't. We'll see you soon. Bye.